right, so once you have your book written, I recommend going to Reedsy.com. So I'm already logged in here. So Reedsy offers all these services, but what I use it for is to format my book. So you will go to books, so you can import a book, but I usually just go here. I'm just going to say test, create book. All right, so the first thing you want to do is this page. Whatever your pen name is, this will likely be the first edition of the book, your publication. If you have the ISBNs yet, you can enter them there. If you have a publisher, which you likely won't have in this scenario, but you can do that here and then upload the logo here. If you have collaborators, you can put them here. You can tick off these. So I usually do this one. I don't write fiction, so I wouldn't do that. I think this is good because a lot of times if you're writing a book that has a lot of your URLs in it, those can break or change. And then if you want to add an additional, you can type that there. You might want to say something like disclaimer, some contents. This was generated using yeah, let's just go with that. All right, and then table of contents. If you want a prologue, you can do that. If you want an introduction, here's chapter 1. If you want a conclusion, epilogue, afterword. So you have chapter 1. Want to create a new chapter, you will go here and you'll say new chapter. So there's chapter 2. So if you go back up to table of contents, you now see that chapter 2 has been added. And then back matter, you can create a chapter and add that there, or you can say like about the author, also by Sarah St. John. And so let's go to the chapter. You can change the chapter title. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Chapter 2, testing yet again. Testing yet again. And then you can create goals and insights. You can select your writing days, and this keeps track of how many words you've written. So Reedsy is a free platform, but there's certain tools you can use that do cost. Statistics, most used words, and then word count, words, paragraphs, characters, reading time, 1 minute. So that gives you an idea of that. Pen note, that would be like if you just want to create a note for yourself, you have to have a paid plan for that. Show deleted content, writing timeline. It tells you the time of the day, and how long, if there's certain words you're looking for. Show spelling suggestions. So let me just see if I misspell a word. Testing. Okay, so it'll tell you it's a change. Okay. And then insert, if you want to insert an image, you can insert a line break. You can add a scene break and end note test. You can add an image. You can add a caption here, a sting. And then you can split the chapter. Use your cursor to split up this chapter. So I will do that. Split the chapter. So that's basically like if you were writing something and then decided that something should actually be in a different chapter, you can do that and then create the next chapter where you split it. And then here's planning. This is like a sample. You can create a blank note or folder. You can create a board. And in the board, you can add blank note, test, and folder, test, back to manuscript. So you can add a chapter or a new part. You can have a part 1 and then inside it, part. And those chapters are assigned to part 1. And then you could have a part 2 and add more chapters. And then if you need to rearrange the order of the chapters, that down. So basically what I recommend is writing your book, and so a lot of it you'll use like ChatGPT, and then I would copy and paste that into like a Word doc. I mean, you could copy and paste directly from ChatGPT, but it's good to have a backup. So I recommend copying and pasting into a Word doc and then copying and pasting from there. So you will want to export both of these, but you can't at one time. You have to do them individually. And then formatting options. You can hide chapter numbers and drop caps. End note positioning at the end of the page or at the end of the book in a separate chapter. I'll see it on the page. You pick your size. These are the different sizes, but usually 6x9. And then the template. So this is how it'll look. like that, like that. You see how that T is. So this is how it'll look. Now, the first letter is big because I said that. But if I click off of that, then this is how it'll look. I usually do this one. Let's go with this one just for funsies. And then back up your book, I recommend that. Need an editable version of your book as a backup, export this. So let's do that. And then it says your book is being typeset. You'll receive an email with the download. Go back, and then I need EPUB, export, typeset. So these are still pending, but anyway, so you can download the editable one. And then if you want to invite collaborators that will also be editing it, you can say access. So basically when you get that exported file, you will take the PDF and upload that for the print book version in Amazon KDP. And then the EPUB you will upload for the Kindle. So here I have the copyright. Here is the table of contents. So I did do sections. So I did the basics, marketing a podcast, monetizing a podcast, conclusion. Here's a chapter. Back matter, so about the author. You can put in your social media links, your photo, and then also by Sarah St. John. This shows my other books and where you can go to get them. And it has your word count here. I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. If you're like, this is too much, can you just do it for me? Yes, I can. I do offer services where I can create an entire ebook or book period, ebook, audiobook for you, format it here in Reedsy, distribution, all of that. Actually, while I'm here, let me show you one other platform. Now, here's another platform that's similar to Reedsy, but it's actually better. I haven't used it myself because it actually costs money. Reedsy is free, but this one is $147. Now, it is just a one-time fee, so that's nice. It's not like a monthly fee. This is from the same person, Dave Chesson, who did Publisher Rocket, which I will be showing you as well. The thing about Reedsy is it will have something in the front matter that basically says this book was formatted by Reedsy, but yeah, if you don't want that in there, and if you want a little more control, there's just more flexibility and customization that you can do with Atticus. Yeah, here's Dave Chesson. But yeah, you could check that out. See, it's comparing it here to Vellum. Vellum is another platform. But yeah, I recommend if you want the free option, go with Reedsy. If you want something with more customization and more flexibility and all of that, then I would go with Atticus. So yeah, I hope that was helpful.